I really,
This
really enjoyed this one.
this was fun, and it was the final book, which I have questions about also. So, but this week was
Scythe and
Scythe and
Sparrow!
Sparrow by Brynne
And
Weaver. We love her. She's
oh yeah.
she's she's a freak just like us.
Yep.
As always, there is spoilers.
Spoilers.
Uh,
Big
and I
list of
do
trigger
want
warnings that
to
are just funny to me.
yeah, I gotta read her spoilers because they're so funny.
Yeah.
Like eyeballs. Again, if it's any consolation, I don't know why I keep writing them into books because eyeball shit freaks me the fuck out. Also, eyelids. Yep, we're there now. Great scene, by the
Yes.
way.
Yes.
I'm not sure I really ruin cotton candy as much as maybe just defile it. Also loved that scene.
Yes.
Possibly sausages and or hot dogs. Ill-advised use of staple guns. Again, great scene. Are drug addicted raccoons a trigger? Debate. No, I don't think they're a
Hey,
trigger.
that wasn't a trigger. That was just funny.
Which is
I love
great.
Barbara the raccoon.
Clowns and sexy clowns.
Yeah.
Medical trauma, like medical trauma. Impaling, not the sexy kind, but okay, that too. Um, References to domestic, physical, psychological, emotional abuse, harassment, intimidation, misogyny, injured dog, but if you've read L and L, you
Yeah.
already know Bentley will be fine. He's too grumpy and badass to die.
Yep.
All the weapons and sharp objects, like
Hmm.
we should be used to these by now. Lots of sex scenes and kinks.
Hmm.
And yeah, like it's a book about a doctor and a serial killer, so like there's lots of injury and death. That's a given.
Yeah.
And then she was like, for those of you who read B and B, L and L, and said, hell, I've already endured the ice cream and pizza. I might as well keep going. You truly are my people. This one's for you. And I was
Yep.
like, thank you. And it
Yep.
did feel like this one was for us.
Honestly, and
Being
like,
Nebraska girlies.
yes, I was like, oh, it's like it made it like a little bit more relatable because we can like visualize where things are at, and the fact that
Hmm.
like Omaha was listed and like Hartford,
And Lincoln and Grand Island and so
yes.
many places. I was like, yes.
Now I will say, since I'm not from here,
Hmm.
like sometimes it's hard for me to like figure it out, but like I've been here for
A decade?
9 years now. I've been here 9 years now, but like it's not like I know any other place outside of where we're at. Even for
Hmm.
Lincoln, I know where the bourbon's at because I only go to
You go to
Lincoln
shows there.
for the shows. So it's like it takes a little bit, but like honestly, when they're talking about cornfields, things like that, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, like you just
Dirt
go,
roads, like, and this is like small town. So like
yes,
any small ass town in Nebraska, like the whole like what the sewing sisters,
the
what were their
Suture Sisters,
future
love
sisters?
them.
Like that's so like small town vibes and like like the doctor having his office and like his house
The
like
clinic, and
near each
yeah,
other was very like I was like, oh, this is like very like small town Nebraska and like when we see Rose turn up there, she's like, it's hot as balls. And you're like, that
yes,
would be here in the summer.
yep,
Yes.
because of the
Um,
humidity and everything. And I will say, like,
uh,
I would love to be a part of the Suture Sisters. No
Reading
joke.
it, I'm like, I could see Christina being a part of this group. Like, like, even though a lot of them are older women, besides Fionn.
I used to go to a sewing club with my grandma. Grandma Penny. We I would go out there and we'd meet up and teach me how to sew and do little craft things or whatever. I loved it. Now, granted, with like Killian coming around and whatnot, it's like I'm not able to like
Have
do any of that. And I don't
time.
know if they're still doing it. It was like an actual sewing league.
What?
Like I technically had to like pay to get in, but she had
That's
me come to like
crazy.
check it out. Yeah.
Hmm.
They're a hoot though. I will say, like, when grandmas get together, and especially in a small town, they get gossipy and it's fantastic.
All the tea. All of
Yes. Yeah,
like
this
who's
book had to be my favorite out of the trilogy, just because it felt, what's the word I'm looking for? uh, I don't know, just I'm not gonna say realistic because honestly, like they're serial killers and blah blah blah. But like how Rose was having to go through and like she kept messing up or whatever. I was like, yeah, yeah, that tracks. And also the tarot aspect of it, I was like, it really
I
interests
love
me.
the whole circus
Yes,
aspect, like in general, and like her tarot and like her motorcycle, like stuff. I love adding that because, like, if we're just gonna be in Nebraska, it's gonna be a little boring. I mean, so like it's nice that they like have like that's how she ends up there, right?
yes,
Is like with the circus and like she's doing her tarot roses and like she has a knack for what seems to be like picking up on like abused women.
yes.
And so she's like clearly like trying to like help this lady and some douche canoe comes in and is like, no, and he like takes his wife's money. He's like,
Hmm.
what thoughts did you put in her head? And she's like,
Yeah,
nothing. But she could like see in the cards that it was to like take flight, like the lady needed to leave or whatever and was like clearly
yep,
having trouble. And so that's like kind of where the book starts. And it's like,
yeah,
oh, okay. And next thing you know, she's like getting a list from this like 15-year-old boy, Baz, who,
yes.
wants to like bring vacation to his mom and make pina coladas and like,
So like, so that way he could go and do. What was it? He can have the car or something like that. Like it was,
yeah, and like she's like one of the few with like like transportation
yeah,
into
her
like
motorcycle,
towns. Yeah, and so
dirt
like she goes
biking.
and gets all this stuff and like she ends up like they pocket that dude's license, like
Yeah.
that Matt is his name, and she
Well, yeah,
like
because
goes,
then Matt like took while he was like kind of interrogating her, took the $20 back that Lucy
yeah,
put on the table.
yeah, he was like, no, my wife ain't paying you for nothing.
The
Like,
bass is over. She's like, I need you to grab his license and the $20
and
and
the
make sure the
$20
$20
that
gets back to Lucy.
thank you.
Thank
Which
you.
I love that, right? And like she talked about how like in one like swift turn, he like
Yes.
had already like grabbed it and like put the wallet back. I was like, yes.
Hmm.
But yeah, seeing Rose like try to take him down with the bat and like getting her like a leg fucking whacked
Oh
open
my
with the
god, out
protruding
of
bone.
bone
I was
out
like,
of the skin, like everything. Yep.
ah, and she's like trying not to pass out, but like, oh, what's that tropical smell?
Well, all the pina colada stuff in her bag.
She's like, oh yeah. Oh yeah, those wooden sticks. Hacha to the eye, but it doesn't kill
Cocktail thing.
him. I was like, girl, you better run.
Yeah,
And
like you
she
better get
does.
out of there somehow.
So that's kind of like how we meet her, and we're like, girl.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because like we've already met her
Yes, in the other
in
books, but they seem to run like almost on the same timeline.
yes. Yeah. So it's like we've already met her B&B and in L&L. But like you
Mm-hmm.
don't really know
Know
this
her
one. Like she's like
story.
beyond in a way, like he's taking care of her, but like there was no
Mm-hmm.
real super hints until L&L at the towards the end before everything. You're
Mm-hmm.
like, okay.
Get a little
This
bit more.
really gives the backstory of like how everything came to be. And then you
And
get the little fill-ins.
Leon is even in Nebraska, like
Yes.
that's all answered. Like he clearly was in love and had his heart broken. I think her name was like
Blair.
Alice or something. And like he just lives and exists in
Yeah.
Nebraska. He's like not a part of the community really. Like other
Mm-mm.
than like being a doctor, he just like stays to himself and like wants to like avoid any like emotional
Yes.
connection. He's also like avoiding his like anger. And we like learn more about like the guys' childhood too. And like
Uh,
he clearly does not like want to let his like monster out like his
yeah.
brothers have. Like he's the oldest, they expect more of him, like yada
No,
yada
he's the
yada.
youngest.
Oh, was he?
He's the young.
Okay.
Lachlan's the oldest, and then it's Rowan, and then it's him.
That's right. Yeah. But they like expect more of him, especially after
Yeah.
going to like medical school and
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, I
But
think like he thinks that they expect more.
yes,
Like they
that
want
that
him to
is
be
fair.
happy, but like it's his own expectation.
Yes, it's not something that they're like, you need to. No, it's him and solely him. But
Yeah.
he gets like an alert on his phone or whatever because he
Someone
has it
breaking
set
into the
up
clinic.
for Barbara, the
Barb.
rabid raccoon that keeps like stealing all of the narcotics. He's like, wait, that's not her.
Yeah.
That's not Barbara. Or what, that's her name, right?
Yeah,
Barbara?
Barbara.
Yeah, like there's a girl breaking into my office. He goes in there and she's like, help.
Yeah, hell. And he's like, oh, what?
Yeah,
Blood
like
everywhere, trailing.
she tried to like fix herself and it was
Yep.
clearly like not great. And she's just like hanging on. And I found
Yep.
it interesting that like Fion's so opposite from her brothers. Like he's like, call 911, call 911,
What? Yeah.
call 911.
He's like, come on.
Whereas like Lachlan and Rowan will like avoid calling the police
Oh,
and all
yeah.
cops, right? So it's like so interesting. And like he goes with her in the ambulance into the hospital and like
Because that little help, like, just triggered something in him.
he
It
was
was
like,
like,
God damn it, like
all right, she's
I
beautiful.
guess
She's gorgeous. I'm here. She
I'm
needs
here, I'll
me.
help her. And he like finds in her like jacket Matt's like license or whatever. And like Matt's got like an eye patch and shit. Now he's just walking around all pirate
Yep.
like.
What is
So
like he
he
goes and he like scrubs in. He's like, I'm going to be in on this surgery. Like all of a sudden, he's just like invested.
did in her. And it's weird, right? And like he knows who she is and that like she didn't get in a motorcycle accident. Like he's
Accident.
very
Yeah.
aware of that when he like they like send her home and she goes to her RV and he's like watching her like struggle and he's like, "Why don't you come stay with me?" Like he's
But the
already
children of the
aware.
corn.
Dude, so great because like on the vibe on the swings
The
was very
vibe.
Children of the Corn and Children of the Corn is set in Nebraska. So it
I
was
love
like
it.
a perfect call out. But yeah, they all like stop and like wave. Like she was like talking to herself in the RV, like, I will not get murdered by these scary Children of the
He's like,
Corn
I'm just gonna be
kids.
in here, and he's like, no, this is creepy. So why don't you just come with me? Like,
Like I have extra bedrooms, I have a shower and like air conditioning. It's hot
yeah,
as
yeah,
dick
because
in
like
this RV.
Dorothy is the
Or
RV, and she's like, I definitely have this, and he's like, no, you don't.
you definitely don't. So don't lie to me,
Just
girl.
like,
And
come with me.
yep.
I'll
And I
take care of you.
like
I have
that.
extra space, and it's like his home is so non-personal. Like it's literally just a place to rest his head. Which,
Yeah,
like,
like there's no
aw.
photos, there's no
And then she
he's
makes
got
that
like
guest
one
bedroom like her
coaster,
own.
like one coaster for his own cup.
His
Like
doily that he made.
yep, I know. But
I
like
love it.
very used to living.
Like he only
Oh,
has one placemat for his table. He has one doily that he made. That
that's
was his
right, the
first thing.
singular placemat.
And yes, like when he goes into his room, he's working on a blanket that he likes to donate.
Yes.
I that man, once they said, oh yeah, he's starting to crochet, I was like, I love him. This is
Adorable.
my man.
Sexy. And she calls him like McHottie or
McSpicy.
McSpicy. And that like makes me think of Grey's Anatomy. And it
Yes.
made me chuckle like every time she called him Doc or McSpicy. I'd be like, oh, that's cute. Like I will say, like, I like how all the different books have been like a different type of trope. Like
Yes.
this was like forced proximity, right? Or like friends with benefits to
Yes. And
something
then like LNL was the marriage of convenience, like one of those like to save. And then B&B is what? That was just like a competition.
yeah, I don't I almost feel like L&L was more like enemies to lovers.
Yeah, enemies to lovers, but then it was like marriage for convenience, like to help.
Yes.
But
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 they're all very different. And
yeah.
I enjoy like they're very different, but they're similar in like the way
Mhm.
that they're written and like the comedy. But I did find it interesting that they were all different types of like tropes.
Yeah.
Very different, very similar,
And I will
but
say like B&B took longer to get to any type of spice. L&L kind of the same length, but S&S like
I
it was
feel like
not long.
they got there faster for
It
sure.
wasn't even
And
halfway into
like
the book. Like
it was much faster than the previous books,
because
and
it's all
I'm
threads
not.
with benefits or like we have this tension. But I also think it leads in like from the other books, like we know something was kind of going on, but like actually seeing it now,
Yes.
I was like,
Yes. And how it plays out. I love like how he's like, "Oh, I gotta go to work or
yeah,
whatever." While she's saying that, like, but like, call me if you need anything whatsoever. Like,
yeah.
And so she tries to go after another dude.
Eric.
And yeah, so but like this time she's got a knife, right? And she's like, 'cause,
Yeah.
like the bat didn't work. Like that's not my thing. And like homegirl is on crutches, like
Yes.
hiding, like in the back of his truck, and her phone goes off. And so she's like, "Oh, I guess like it's now or never." And she goes,
Ta-da!
"Ta-da!" And like
Loved
so
her little
circusy, like ta-da! And
yeet.
you
It
know,
wasn't even
since
a
it's
yeet, it was a stab directly in the neck.
and then the blood goes everywhere, and she's
What? And then the vomit all over the blanket. She's like, maybe I can't do this. Maybe this is not for me. Because like the reason she's called the Sparrows is um one about her cards, but also like she's the one that helps these women take flight,
yes,
you
flight like
know?
helps them leave.
And I love that they brought in the fact about Aquatofina. And like,
Mm-hmm.
because that was a legit thing.
I
If you don't
caught
know what
that too.
Aquatofina is, it's like this, I think her name was I'm gonna say it wrong.
I know it's because it's French, right?
Something like that. Julia, I want to say how it's like you would pronounce it.
Like Juliana or
It's
something.
Giulia.
Yeah, something like that.
Tofana, Tofana. Um, Aqua Tofana, I want to say. So like she tells that little story about how back in the day, it's like to be able to kind of hide these things, like you would go into her store
Yes,
specifically and ask for an Aqua Tofina, and so she would give those type of in the disguise of a
like a facial
lotion.
mask. Yeah, like a
Yeah, but that's how
lotion.
they would kill their husbands who were being
Mm-hmm.
abusive. And so that's pretty much what she was doing because when he goes in to check on her, Tush, when he goes in to check on her in the guest bedroom, she has these sorts of plants and she has
Yes,
wolfsbane and things like that
yes.
are like all kind of into it. I loved that. Maybe that's why like I really liked this the third one the most. It's
You
because
could
it to
relate,
me, yes, and not in a way of like full on relating. Obviously, like sure, I've
right?
been in previous relationship where it was more of a manipulative and like I got out because I was like, no,
But
but not
like the
for me.
tarot, like the
The
crochet,
tarot, the
like the
crochet,
plants, like just her like
the small town like home type of feel, like it really hit. And I don't know. And Barbara,
Barbara
Barbara,
was great.
I
I
love this little feisty raccoon who she ends up keeping and
keeping, I
trained with the
know.
poodles at the
Well, like, and before Barbara, like, so like she kills that dude, right? It's like,
yes.
huh. So she calls and she's like, "You said I could call you for like anything whatsoever." He pulls up, he's like, "What am I looking at?" Because
She's
like
like,
the truck was gonna go into the Platte River, but it like
yes.
stopped like halfway.
And of course, with her being on crutches, she can't like
Do much. So like she's like, "No, I'll show you the proof." Like, I love this girl. She's like, "No, I'll prove it to you." She's like wiping the bloody phone off on on her jeans. He's like, "Yeah, embed that into your the
your
fibers."
fibers.
And she's like, "Well, just hold on." She's like trying to like get the phone to unlock, and she's like, "Ugh." Goes back to the toolbox, gives like the stapler gun, and staples his eyes open, pours some beer on top of his head, and then it opens. And I'm like, that whole scene, I was just like,
Something I would totally do, but like eyes open, and I love it because she gets the one. She's like,
"Huh." She goes and hits the other. "Huh." He's like, maybe this isn't the line of work for you if gore free. And she's like, no, it's fine.
I got this. I can do this. No, she
And they go back, like they end up, singing the truck. He's, like, I didn't want to do that, but like here we are. And
yeah.
he does like some underground fighting, which like he clearly was supposed to just be a doctor for. And
Yeah,
then
he was at the
Fionn,
Blood Brothers farm. And so like it is a fight and he is a
yes.
doctor for it, but with her randomly showing up, she gets knocked over and then he goes into a rage and like
And
that
he
inner part
likes
of
that
him.
like release that he's able to like get out. He was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, maybe I shouldn't be like holding this in." So it's
Yeah.
interesting that they're both like finding their own path at like a different time.
And
But
he's
yeah.
so caught up because of Claire, doesn't want that relationship, but she is bringing that out more and more. And he's starting to get
Mhm.
more possessive in that way of like, I need to make sure you're safe. I
Like
need you
I
around.
want
And it's
you
like
to
this
be
home actually feels like a home.
yes.
Yeah.
And he starts taking her to like Boston, like the restaurant openings, and that's where like you start to see like your timelines are running
Yeah.
consecutively. And like she gets to know the girls too, and like that relationship was super sweet.
Oh yeah.
And once they start hooking up, it was like adorable. I was
Yes.
like, yes. And the cotton candy thing did not bother me one bit.
Not at all. I was like,
I
okay,
was
my
like, this
only
is,
concern was like, oh, you need to like really go wash yourself
you're going to get a yeast
because
infection.
she like that's like towards the end. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like he's coming to visit her because of all the like the other little things, and she's like, I don't know if you want me here, blah blah blah. Like
Mm-hmm.
I want to go back to the circus. Like I'm starting to catch feelings. So, like this is not what we agreed upon. So goes back
Was that
and
the Fright Night one?
no,
No? Okay.
no, that's when like a dude she went around her town. He came to visit, and the dude
Okay.
was running on the treadmill
That's
because she was gonna try to off him, but like she gave him too much and didn't realize like what else he took. And then dumbass over here, he's like, okay, yeah, do a lap, and they're trying to figure out how are we gonna kill this dude, because it's one of her hits. And he does a lap, and they're watching outside
fails
the RV,
herself.
just watching him run back and forth. And then he looks like he's running towards the picket fence or whatever
Mm-hmm.
from like the circus. No one else is really around either because it's like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
something along those lines. Goes and tries to hurdle it, and they're like, I don't think it's work. And he's like, oh no, he's gonna hurdle it. She's like,
Huh?
I don't know if
Oh,
that's gonna happen. And then yeah, he tries to and just impales himself. And he's like, she's over here like climbing back on the RV, like, what?
well,
That solved itself. And he's like,
he's like
I'm a
to call.
doctor by the oath. I have to call 911. She's like, but do we like
Like,
someone will
come
find them?
on.
And then he's like, you can clearly see that he was running from your RV. So even if the cops do come, they're gonna want to question him.
Yes.
Like, I need to do my due diligence. So they walk over, and he's like, no, he's dead. She's
He's
like,
dead.
hey. And so he tells her, I will fix this. Go to your RV. She's like, what are you
Yeah.
gonna do? She's like, I'm gonna call 911. Like
Yeah,
he's
I'm
like
gonna call the police.
cleans it up, and obviously like they realize like this dude's been in and out of jail so many times. Like
Yes.
they know he's like hooked up or whatever. It was an accident. Accident.
Whoopsies. Which like worked out well for them
Yeah.
because like they're already stressed about homie being found in the river.
Oh
And
yeah.
Matt with the one eye is like fucking with them both.
On
Like, I know she did that shit. Like, I know she did
well,
that.
and that's
And
like been happening for years too. Is like it does jump year to whenever.
yes,
But like and then after that whole scenario with what's his face with the fence is like the next time he comes to visit, uh one of those times. Was it with
the
no,
first time he
that was
comes to
before the
visit, he's
letters. It's
like,
before all of that happened.
he comes into like the doctor's office to get his eye patch
Yeah.
changed first. And Theon is like, hide. But then he like, I feel like he approaches Rose again and then like again, like later in
Yes.
the book,
Oh
like
yeah, yeah,
at
because
the
he dresses
end.
up as a clown because that's when she's at the fright one. But with the cotton candy bit, is that yeah they keep moving to their cities. He comes to visit, and she's like, "I have a game for you. You're gonna taste
Catch
me."
me. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and but all the time she has a butt plug and running around, and they go, and that's when the whole voyeurism, like the public, what
Yes,
happens is
comes
they go into
into
the concession
play.
stand and they start
Mm-hmm.
playing, and she was like, because he goes to he takes the butt plug out
Yes.
goes and cleans it off. He's like, put it in your mouth. And she's like, I don't know if I want to do that. Even though it's like clean, he cleaned it with soap and water, like everything. And he's looking
Let me show
around.
you
He's
how to
like,
use the cotton candy
cotton
machine.
candy. Shows him how to do it, sprinkles it around. He keeps it in one hand. And so she takes it off and puts it on. And then, yeah.
And then he puts some on her to taste later. And I'm like, oh, you're going to get a yeast infection,
Yeah, like he
girl.
puts it on her tongue, on his tongue, and starts going down. And that was my thing. I was like, again with the candy and the sugar on the
You're
bag.
gonna need some
I'm
balancing.
not a fan of that because I'm like that's real like like unless you have a lot of saliva and you can really lap that up. Like I'm gonna feel sticky.
I'm gonna feel sticky.
I don't know, and I'm also just so concerned about UTIs. Honestly,
Oh
like
my.
any of these dark like even like any romance books or anything where it has to do with like candy down there, I'm like that's fine and dandy.
I'd rather ice cubes or something. I don't know. Like,
Girl,
there's
ice
other
cubes.
things for
If you
sure.
haven't, do it.
For sure. Like, for real. Like, it's a game changer.
Yeah, just saying.
It's
Like,
fun.
and how fun was all of that too? But I also like the fact, and thank you, Brynne, for having him wash that off and for putting cotton candy on there because if that didn't happen, I would be gagging.
No, mm-mm, no, sir, no.
Yes. Like, and then
Um,
this whole time, they're going back and forth. They're really starting to feel for each other. They're really starting to fall for each other, but they don't want to say anything because they don't want like that friendship to end because they know like he's over here thinking like, does she want to stay with me? Like
and
she's
like
always
she's
said
my
she wants to
patient.
go. Yeah.
Like I'm crossing an ethical line.
But
Blah, blah, blah,
get
blah,
over
blah, blah.
yourself.
Yeah, like just fuck her. Ugh. But yeah, so that's when they like set those like rules
No
or
kissing.
whatever. No
No cuddling.
PDA, no cuddling. And that shit
Same
so
bed.
fast. So fast.
I mean,
They
I
just
filed an exemption. Didn't you get it?
yeah, like I filed. I like okay.
Hello. I love that.
I did think it was cool how like we learned more about what's his name, like Leander.
Yes.
Because, like towards the end of the book, and this is after they kill Matt or whatever.
Yes, because like she was at the fright fair.
Yeah,
That's where she
dressed
was
up as
dressing up.
sexy Art the clown, first off. I was like, the vision I have
That was good.
is hot, but like gross with the fake teeth you have in. But fun.
True. But she was reading her tarot, getting all the spooks set up, and then Matt
Yes.
comes in and she's like, "Hello." And like
He's
this,
like,
granted, this is a few like years later from how the book plays out, but he comes in dressed as like the scary clown, and I was like, "I don't like that."
I don't like that.
Because who are you?
Yep, we don't love that. And yeah, like he chases her ass down, but she's like, no, I know my lay of the land. Like,
Going into that
it's in the
haunted
haunted
house.
house. Yeah. And I mean, her and because Fionn ends up like seeing her and ends up like going in, I believe, behind her and
Yeah,
like
because
thinking
he was like,
like
"I saw you running."
running. And she's like, 20 more minutes. And he's like, I thought your shift was over. She's like, just one more thing.
I gotta wrap something up. And then of course, then Matt comes in and he's like, "Oh," she's like, "Damn it," because she didn't want to keep getting him involved. She was feeling bad
Yeah,
about that,
like
that he was
she's like,
standing
this
up for
is
Matt.
my thing. Like, I don't
Yeah,
want to put you into like something you don't want to do
yeah,
anymore, which like unfortunately this scene did it for
really,
him, right?
really, because like he turns around, he's able to kill Matt, hangs him on like a meat hook thing or whatever.
In
But
like a
like,
rage, like,
yes, he was like, "Oh, now you've done it," and of course, that's in one part of the house where um the camera takes a photo to like show you fear
yes,
and it catches that. So like there is that lined up. But that's also the scene where it really like he kind of got a little scared. She was a little like, "Are you okay?" And that's when they officially like kiss. And like
kiss.
that's really the time where it's like, "No, I want you." Like I don't they
Hmm.
didn't say I love you or anything like that, but it was like that was totally different.
Rules are out the door. Yeah, like rules are out the door here, but he had to call Uncle Leander. I don't even know if that's his
It's not an
name.
uncle, but yeah, it's Leander, like
Yeah, and like
who helped them in the very like in their childhood with their dad.
yeah, and so like, and I guess that's why I call him uncle, because he like
Yeah.
kind of takes this like father figure place for
Mhm.
them, but they also don't respect him like they would a father, right?
Oh,
It's
yeah,
clear
yeah,
that
yeah.
they like have to answer to him, and I assume it has something to do like with the Irish and like I don't know. I feel like there's more.
Well, they have no. It's because he had so much evidence against them that he could just give up and they'd all be screwed.
Okay, all right. So he's like, y'all have to do the dirt
Yes,
for
like
me.
they respect him to a point because he really did help them get out, got the apartment, got the jobs. But like
Okay.
obviously, like they have to kind of come back in when they tell him like we got a contract. And so Leander pretty much blackmails Theon into doing this like 9-month contract of like, and you're leaving tomorrow
Overseeing.
to Croatia.
Yeah, and then it like the book starts crossing with like
Yeah,
the other books
with
like
L&L, yeah.
Lark is missing, and so like that's cool that we got to see like that like crossover happen,
And
but
yeah, we
like
do have to read about them finding Bentley again in the
yes,
but
which
like
like
Theon's like, stop.
it's
Theon's like,
quick.
I'm not a vet. But
Yeah.
like you read more about how he's able to fix the vet, fix Bentley, get him to the
Mm-hmm.
vet. I can't
Vet,
talk.
vent,
Vent.
vet.
So like Bentley lives, Bentley's fine.
He's
We're
okay.
good.
As
Sucks
always.
to had to read that again. I was like, no, Bentley. But
Not again. But
yeah.
they do a really good job, but where like my heart broke was the notes and the tarot cards, because like
Yeah.
he's gone for like 10 months and like Rose is back at the circus, but like her heart's not in it. Like,
No, and Jose knows that who runs the circus and like is telling
and
him.
like their relationship was really cute too. Like as like a fill-in father for her, like he's like, I'll always love you, but like you're just kind of like,
And we finally found out like why she was doing this to begin with. Like towards the end of the book, like we finally find out because she has a
yes,
tattoo that says BR with some
yep,
flowers or whatever, and it's because that was the one person who she tried to help, but it backfired because it wasn't a high enough dosage to kill him, so he killed her. And
yeah.
like that's the whole reason
Reason
about how she
why,
wanted to take more action. She didn't want to
yes,
just leave it on them. Like she wanted to be the one to do it. But honestly, she's not great at it. Though I feel like toward like at the end of the book, like it is a happy ending and they get back together and he proposes and it's so cute.
it's
But they all meet
cute.
up at the cabin where like
Yes,
everyone's together. And I'm sorry, the first epilogue where it's in Rowan and Sloane and they're going for their annual hunt again.
he's in
He's
the
in his
dragon
dragon
costume.
cosplay and he's like, "Did you use face paint?" And he's like,
Yeah, like I'm
no,
99% sure.
dyed
I'm like,
green."
what do you mean permanent, Sloan? What do you mean by permanent?
Permanent.
And then when Fion gets there, he's like, well, it'll take about like 2 weeks to like
Hold on.
regenerate new skin cells. And he's like, 2 weeks?
He's like, well, a month if you don't do it twice a day. He's like, what?
But so like I overall love the book and I was like,
Yes.
what a great like way to tie in all three of the books at the end,
Yeah.
right? Where they're all like meeting at the cabin and like the
And like
annual
Sloane
like
knows through like the whole time she's like, I like Rose. And what's going
yes,
on with Theon, you know? And it just
uh-huh,
kind of leads up because when he does have to go to Croatia, she gives him this
the
the
address.
address for her because it's through Vitamax wherever she works, you know? And it's
Yep.
like, I love it. He's like, how did you know? She's like, honey, I knew.
Yeah,
It's
I-
Sloane.
like we got out of yeah, like duh. Like
Because like that
I
whole
was gonna
time too,
kill
it's
him.
like Rose, because of everything that happened in LNL when she got stabbed, you know, and we got now we're seeing like the after effects of that. You know,
Yes.
who knows how long that she was actually in there? I think like a month or two
It's
before she
true.
can go back in the hospital.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, but like it was like a lengthy time. But obviously he had to leave before she could even wake up.
Could
So
even
like
yeah.
getting those notes, seeing all that, I was like,
Cute.
oh
And his interpretation of the cards was really cute, right? I was
yes,
like, you're so
yes.
sweet. My only thing was I felt at the end because they bring up that serial killer again, Henry, and they're
Mhm.
going after him, like all of them. Is there going to be another book?
No,
Like,
no,
it
no,
doesn't
no.
need to be like a reunion's
I know.
love.
I feel like they were going after someone different. The only part that got brought up is because they talked about Henry because we were now in the second epilogue. We were now seeing it from Autumn's point of view, who Sloane saved.
Okay, I was like, who was Autumn? Because when they said that, I was like,
Because
who
remember
is
in the
that?
in B&B, you know, they're at the farm or whatever. She
Yes.
gets thrown in underneath in like the basement area or like the cell room. And that chick who was
Oh,
there who's practically naked, you know, Sloane gives her the
yes.
skirt. And that's why she's saying, I've stitched this shirt to keep it safe because that's what
Okay.
Sloane gave her. And that's why Sloane, like when she sees her in the woods, it was like, oh hey, what's up? And then continues like it's no big deal. So
Okay.
I love that. I was like, oh shit,
That
we're hearing
makes
about
more
Autumn again.
sense. I was
Because
like,
Autumn
what?
was like, so appreciative and like, what can I do to help type thing, but also like she needed to get her shit together.
Yeah,
um,
get it together, girl.
so I'm
It was
excited
good.
to see where that's gonna go.
Yeah, like even like if they wanted to, if she wanted to do like a spin-off, she
I think
could.
that's what it's really gonna be. It's like, okay, so how is it now that like Sloane helped Autumn to get to where
Yes.
she
And like
is?
now that everybody knows everybody's secrets, like
How is Autumn gonna play? So I'm like, how's
I
that
would
gonna
like to see
play?
another book come out. Like, and it doesn't necessarily even need to be like a romance novel, but I would
Mhm.
just like to have a book come out about everybody, right? Like maybe like working together.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just, I don't want it to be done. Maybe that's why.
I don't, yeah, same,
I
same. And
don't, I
oh,
just
can
don't
I
want
just
it to
say,
be
like,
done.
that whole part with the Suture sisters and making the sex swing and like, that coming into play, I was like, yes, I was hoping we would get that. Making that crocheted sex swing.
I
Like,
had
I
forgotten
died.
about it until the epilogue, and then I was like, oh, or the bonus chapter it
Yes.
was, and I was like, oh snap, let's
So
test it out.
funny. Because I'm like, literally, since like I do crochet and I knit, and like, we like,
He's like, let
when
me.
they were talking about the fibers and what like what yarn to use, I was like, bamboo would be a good one because it is kind of stealthy. But like, what stitch would you use for these? Because like, you're gonna have all this weight on there, and I'm like, I'm glad they put it over. Like, I was literally in like grandma
Thinking about
mode, and
it.
like, what could I like do? And I'm like, there's nothing out there that my fat ass would be able to put like be sitting in with this yard. Like, it would have to be super thick.
I feel like like, especially if we're putting two people in that thing, it better be sturdy, especially when it's rocking and moving.
Uh-huh. But I love that the sisters were like the grannies were just like, yeah, you could do it with this and with this. And he's over
This
there
and
just like,
my
yes.
husband could help make the board. Like, it was so funny. And again, like the raccoon,
Love that
so great. I
And I love that
mean,
Jose was like, you need to take Barbara with you because there is an incident with the churros.
the
Do you realize
churros,
how much churro batter that I've thrown out? Because she's just like
like,
mowing. But like,
I
so
used to be
happy that
addicted to
Barbara's off the
drugs.
narcotics.
Yeah, I used to be
Barbara's
addicted
good.
to drugs. Now I'm addicted to churros.
And
I'm
like,
just a raccoon.
and especially in like the end where they're walking up to the cabin and Barbara's on a little leash, like
I was like, when she was like her leash and harness, I was
I've always wanted a little trash panda. They're so cute. And like I mentioned in the one of the other episodes, it was my mother-in-law used to like feed and like have pet raccoon, like wild raccoons. Like cuz in Colorado you can. And
like,
that's where she
really?
used to live and she's like she used to tell us that like yeah, they would have she would have like two little
Trash
raccoons or whatever
panda.
that she would feed and little pet raccoons. I'm like, I want a pet raccoon. I keep seeing them pop up on TikTok and they're just so lovey and mischievous and I love them. I'm like, I
The
want one.
what? I
Whenever I
want a
see
little
some outside, like there's times where I'll be outside smoking and it's like later at night and there's times where I don't turn on the light. I just sit there
Mhm.
with my phone. And a mama and like four of her little pups came around. I was like, I love you. And they're like, how you doing? And she's like, let's go, kids. And like tries to run away. And one of them
Run.
was like kind of creeping closer. I'm like, can I pet you?
I,
Because I'm a basic white bitch, and I want to pet all the animals, wild,
I'm gonna
rabies,
take you.
whatever. And the mom came back, was like, "Nyah," grabs it and runs. I was like,
I'm like,
let me
I
love
was
you.
gonna mother you. I was
Let
gonna
me
mother
love
you.
you.
For me, it was a 5 out of 5.
Oh yeah, oh
I
yeah.
mean, I ate it up too.
That
So,
it took me a day because I mean a day and a few hours because I technically when I
yep.
got it that night I read for an hour maybe two and then I like following day finished
Yes,
it.
all day.
That's all I
Yeah,
did.
it
It
probably took me
and
about a
that's
day also because I didn't
yeah.
start till yesterday
Yeah.
and I finished it today. So
Yep.
it was my
It's like I
faves
even like
of the three.
cleaned everything and I still finished it. So I was like, no, I need to
We're moving. We're moving. And
move in and
her stories flow really well. So
yes.
like that
They're so
helps. Like
well written.
even when there's time jumps, it
Hmm.
still has like a really good flow. And so
Yep.
it was easy to just keep going.
Yep. Thank you, Brynne Weaver. I cannot
Thank you,
wait
Brynne.
for more of her books. She's
Give us
definitely up there
another
with
one. Give us another one.
Give us another one. I'm excited to see where she's
Please.
gonna take it because
I
obviously the
am
trilogy
too.
is done. The Ruinous Love trilogy is done. So like, what else is she gonna give us?
What
And I'm
else do you
hoping that
have
she's
for us?
yeah, I'm hoping she's gonna bring back some of the characters within. Like, I would love that to have this own little universe. So
Yes.
it'll
Me
be
too.
great. That's very
All
exciting.
right. On
So
that
take your
note,
read. If you don't really like the whole full on serial killers, but you also love like the slow burn, the tension, but like you know how someone would normally react when they really do want to kill someone, and they're like, huh? I think I think that's why it really got me because I was like, that is
mhm,
hilarious.
she's not built like Sloane and like, and
No.
so it's just really funny to
Yep.
it was relatable. I mean,
Yes.
for sure. So
I loved it.
it was a
But
great
yeah,
read. I hope you guys check it out.
let us know what you think.
And comment any books you want us to read and review.
Yep, yep. We're all on all the socials. We're getting all those set back up. So you can find us at the Midnight Babes or the Midnight Babes podcast. We'll have to like put a little linky out, but you can find us on TikTok at the Midnight Babes, I believe.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. And then we have the links through there. Because it's
We
one
will
or the
link the
other.
links. We will link the links.
We'll link the links. So we'll figure it out. But yeah, follow us on there. We're gonna get back in everything and we're gonna go.
All right, bye.
Okay, bye.